Injury update, Devontae Davis had to leave with a sprained neck. And then towards the end there, Brandon Jones, high ankle sprain, would not have been able to go back in. So we'll evaluate that when we get home. Really weird game. It was very even. Once we got settled in the first quarter, after the first quarter, it was an even game. We were turnover free, unfortunately, so were they. We struggled stopping the jet sweep. However, we prepared for it, we adjusted for it. Hats off to them. They did a really good job. And then, we can't turn the ball over. Our last 3 possessions down by 1 score, turn the ball over. So a lot of people are going to want to say, what, this feels a lot like last year. It doesn't to me. We got a lot to learn from in terms of how we got to go out after close to an hour, I believe, rain delay, and finish. But there was not, after the first quarter, which again, that's on me. The slow start's on me. I felt like our guys were trying so hard to be perfect because they wanted this so bad, and we got to find a way to relax our guys coming out of the tunnel and make sure that we can play loose and not play so tight. We got to find a way to do that. But I thought second and third quarters were the way we're supposed to play, and then even in the fourth, we made a lot of plays on offense. We left some out there, and then obviously to end the game with 3 straight turnovers is it's not good. It's not good. It'll get you beat, and obviously it did today. Questions?
What's your anger level with those 3 turnovers? 2 interceptions by Sam.
My anger level's at myself. My anger level is, we've got to do a better job, of putting ourselves in. And I'm just telling you, we do so many 2-minute drills in practice, and we've been great versus our defense, which is really, really good defense. So I'm not angry at our players. I thought they played really hard. We got to find a way as coaches to make sure we play smarter.
Tom, how do you manufacture looseness? I mean that's.
How do you manufacture what?
Looseness. I mean, you want them to come in loose,
Yeah.
man. I mean, it's a season opener, and you said they wanted it so bad. That's understandable. That they could be tight.
Yeah, I mean, if I knew that, we would have done it. But we gotta figure that out. We got a week to figure that out on, because again, had you asked me pregame if we were loose, I would have told you yes. I would have said yes. But then, the ball got kicked off, and I could sense it. Guys were trying to be perfect. Guys that are normally very, very, very reliable. We're trying to do too much, and we got to focus on just doing our job, one specific job on one play, and then worry about the next play when that comes up.
After an off-season harping on developing and finishing, to losing this method with turnovers and not being able to get the job done, does that make it a tougher loss to take, than, especially after repeating that so much?
Yeah, I think we did see a lot of development. That's I would not say that is that we failed in that area. Obviously, we got to figure out a way to learn how to finish better. That was a big mantra of ours, and we lost the fourth quarter, and when you play a really good team on the road, you got to win the fourth quarter. You know, we came out of the rain delay. It was a field goal game, and you know, our defense gives up a field goal in the quarter, and we can't find a way to finish and win. And again, we got to go back to as coaches and figure out why and reevaluate that.
Coach,
How do you evaluate-
I know you've only been off the field for a few minutes. Will you look at Shane again this week, a possibility, and you know, maybe reopen that battle at quarterback?
Yeah, again, I don't. Too early for me to answer that question.
Tom, we didn't see Keon take another carry after his touchdown. Was that game plan, injury? Was the reason we didn't see him another carry after his touchdown?
No, you know, we thought Trey was running, you know, really well, and so we went with the hot hand. There was no, other than, you know, it was a tight ball game and true freshman, and felt like the fifth-year senior who was playing well at the time was the right guy to have in there.
How would you evaluate Sam's play, and do you wonder a little bit if he has the right stuff because of these late turnovers and these 4 losses, big losses you had, 3 last year?
No, I don't. I'll evaluate it off video, and no, I don't have any doubt that he has what it takes.
What did you make of? You had a lot of veterans out there making some big penalties. Menahu, you can go down the list. Those are supposed to be veteran guys. Do you talk to them while this is happening, or is it just?
Yeah, they're you know. Again, I'm not going to comment on officiating, certainly, but aggressive penalties are some things as coaches that happen. You know, you're rushing the passer and you jump to try to tip the ball and you happen to go into him.
Right.
You know, I mean, I don't know what to tell Gary Johnson. I don't. It was a guy that was clearly going low at the runner, and he passed the point of no return going at the target that he was going at, and then all of a sudden that target changed. And I get the rule. I really, really do understand the rule for player safety, but I don't know what to tell him. I don't. And so, but to get back to your question, I would have been much more upset if there were, multiple false starts or offsides or, holding, things that are non-aggressive penalties. Yeah, and some, those happen. We've got to figure out. They're not acceptable. I'm not excusing them by any stretch of the imagination, but I think you handle those kind of penalties a little bit different, and you trust me, I would rather have to pull the leash a little bit than have to kick them in the butt, and so we got to pull the leash a little bit when it comes to some of those things.
Getting this turned around, is it so much harder than you thought it would be?
No,
It's not?
no. I knew where we were. I knew what needed to be done, and again, the people whose opinions that matter the most to me are my bosses, Greg Fenvis and Chris Delcani, my family, and then the people in that locker room, the coaches and players. And we know the task at hand. We know the difficulties that lie ahead of us. We also know how much better we are now than we were probably at any point last year. We had we didn't show it in the first quarter and the fourth quarter.
Look at Colin and LJ, it looks like at times they can pretty much physically dominate anybody that's out there, and then there are certain periods where it seems like they go invisible for a little bit or something like that. Is there anything that those guys need to do to make themselves a bigger presence in the game, or is that all sort of just
What coverage are we talking about?
In terms of Colin Johnson and LJ Humphrey, just in terms, it seems like they can really physically dominate the defense at times, but other times it seems like maybe, you know, they're not doing as much as they're capable of. Is
Right,
that-
so
is
what
that
coverage,
dictated?
what coverage were they in when they weren't doing, when they went invisible?
I'm just asking you if they need to do anything particular to make
No.
themselves.
No, they're
more
doing a
part of
great
the game
job.
plan or anything?
Great job.
Tom, when you had battled back in the second quarter, making a 2-point game when you were down 17, were you thinking at halftime, hey, we've got this behind us now that, you know, maybe you don't have the game in hand, but at least that you kind of weathered the storm at that point?
Not on the road. No, I didn't think so. You know, we talked about momentum being an illusion. It's an illusion of control or lack of control, and it doesn't really exist. And that was very obvious. You know, they were up 17, and we came right back. You know, you would have said they had the momentum, but you know, it's an illusion, and you got to go out and do your job every single play, regardless of the score, regardless of what you've battled back from. Each play is its own entity, and each situation is its own situation. And so, did I think we were playing better and to the level of our ability? Certainly. But you know, you're playing a good team on the road that's certainly galvanized by a horrific tragedy. You know, we knew we were going to be in for a 4-quarter fight.
So time for 2 last ones?
Speaking of the storm, you guys were taking the lead, and then you got to go sit in the locker room for an hour and a half. What did you do during that? What did you think? How did y'all handle that?
Like we have in the past, you know, we relaxed. We certainly went through. You know, we knew we only had 14 minutes and 45 seconds left to play, so your possessions are going to be limited. You know, we did not get great field position in that fourth quarter. I think we started at our -15 or -10. You know, a couple of those drives, which is pretty disadvantageous when you talk about percentages of scoring. But we had a game plan both offensively and defensively, and you know, the kids rested, they ate, and then you wait, and then you go get loose. Obviously, you tell them, you know, you talk to them about what has occurred in the first 3 quarters, what we need to do. You communicate with the team on what we need to do in that fourth quarter, and then you go warm up and play.
How big a setback is this, in your opinion, for where you want to go?
Not very. You know, our goal is to go 1-0 each week. We didn't achieve that goal this week, but our long-term goals are to compete for the Big 12 championship in the month of November and December, and we certainly showed that we're capable of doing that. At times, we've got to be much more consistent, but this is one game, and you got 12 of them guaranteed to you, and you got 9 guaranteed conference games. So, you know, as much as we've grown and gotten closer from year 1 to year 2, I think we've also, you know, I think you'll see a growth and development and a learning curve here from week 1 to week 2.
Thanks, Coach.